What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I will show you the computer I bought. It was a really good deal. I couldn't let it slide. My coworker is planning to buy a laptop because he moves a lot, so he decided to sell his computer. Here it is. And here's the PC that I bought. It's a pretty heavy case. I don't know how much it weighs, but I think maybe around 15 kilo or maybe even more. And for the CPU, it has a Ryzen 7 5800X, which is the same CPU that I have on my main computer. The GPU is the RTX 3070 Ti Supreme. That's a pretty good GPU. And the cooler for the CPU is the Kraken Z. I think it's the 63 because it has 120 millimeter fans. And the motherboard is the X570F Gaming. I can probably use that to upgrade my computer. The RAM is G.Skill DDR4 32 gigabytes. That's good. And it has a 1 terabyte 970 Evo Plus from Samsung. And the PSU is the Corsair 850 watt. I'm not actually sure which one it is, but it should be plenty enough to power this computer. He's been using this computer since the pandemic, so I think it's been working well. And I hope that it will keep on working that way. And the case is the Razer Tomahawk, which is an ATX case. I think this case is based on the NZXT S340, which means it absolutely has no ventilation, just from the sides. Which look at these holes; these are so small, and in the front it's completely plastic, so there's pretty much no air coming inside it. But the one neat feature about this case is you can open it from the side without using any screws. And would you look at that? Wow, that's a really big graphics card. Let's take a closer look on what's inside. This case has this pretty neat feature that it can be opened from the side just by magnets. So you don't have to use any screws or anything. And I think you can remove this side panel just by bringing it up and sliding it out. That's pretty good. There we go. We have access to the inside of the computer now. Wait, let me discharge myself before touching the internal components by touching the back of my PSU that is connected to the power. There we go. We are now discharged, so we can safely touch this computer without having fear of electrostatic discharge. It has this ring. Oh my god. It looks really nice. And it has this really big GPU, the RTX 3070 Ti. Wow. This thing is really big. It's like, I'm not sure if it's bigger or maybe the same size as my 6900 XT. But I can see some hair inside it. I think if I remember correctly, he has a cat. So it has a little bit of fur inside. I need to clean this computer and dust it off. And here's the cooler, NZXT cooler, the Kraken Z63, I think. And actually, it has a bracket to hold the GPU to keep it from sagging. That's pretty cool. And here's the motherboard, the Republic of Gamers RG, the X570. Here's the 32 gigabytes of RAM, and actually, there are only 2 DIMMs, so each of it is 16 gigabytes. That's nice. And thankfully, it has the 8-pin power connector, which means it doesn't use the 12-pin power connector. The 12-pin power connector that NVIDIA uses for their 3080 series and up. I prefer this one because it's a lot more safer. And I think this lights up because from the photo he sent me, I remember that this has lights, so it's pretty good. I can use all of these components to upgrade my own computer. This is pretty cool. And I think we'll make a lot of videos using this computer. and I'm quite satisfied of my acquisition of this computer. It's a bit dusty, but we will clean it and it will be good. So let's actually see how this computer looks like when it's turned on. So I plug in the power cable and I will now attach it to the power strip, and I will attach the HDMI cable into the monitor, and let's see how it is. Perfect. And I also attach this keyboard and touchpad so I can easily control the computer from this side. So now let's plug in the computer. This is the moment of truth. Oh, I see it light up. There we go. Seems to be working. Wow. Those lighting is sure damn pretty. Wow. My gosh, that's so pretty looking. Lighting on top. Wow. This computer looks pretty good. And it already booted up into Windows. That's really fast. Oh my god. That's nice. 30 degrees on the CPU cooling. Right there. That's a pretty looking computer. Oh, also there is your logo that's up on the front. I didn't know about that. And there's also RGB on the bottom of the computer. Wow. This is a pretty good case. The only problem is this front that is made of plastic that doesn't even get in there. There's just these little holes. The computer's probably getting no air from the front. It's getting choked. There's just these holes on the bottom right here. Oh, it booted up. Let's see what's inside. I actually already opened this computer before, and oh, I need to turn this on. There we go. See what's inside this computer. And as you can see, there is the Ryzen 7 5800X, the Asus Strix 570F gaming motherboard, 32GB of DDR4 RAM, is running at 3600 MHz at 16 by 19. Oh, that's pretty good. And the GTX, the RTX 3070 Ti with 8GB of VRAM. That's so nice. Let's see how the temperature is doing. I was trying to find the mouse, but I forgot this is instructed. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's in Italian. Let's see what the temperature is. Oh, the temperature seems to be doing okay. 40 degrees. Also, the motherboard is doing pretty good. And the GPU, look at that. 40 degrees at maximum. And 33 at the moment. It's not doing anything, so it's pretty much expected. But I'm glad that it's working. Let's go. To check the performance, I use Cinebench for CPU and 3D Mark Timespy for the GPU. I run Cinebench 2024 once to see just a glimpse of the performance of this CPU with this cooler. And it wasn't that great because it was overheating. It had a maximum temperature of 90 degrees, and during the test it was basically on that level, just 90. It wasn't going below. And as you can see, the score is 753, which is lower than the 5800X that is currently on the ranking as a just a baseline. So this computer is probably not getting enough air, or the thermal paste is basically a cement now, probably. My coworker said that this computer, he hasn't changed his thermal paste for like 4 years now, so that's probably one of the reason. And for the GPU, I ran Timespy, and we got a score of 14,244 overall, a graphics score of 14,771, and a CPU score of 11,852. The graphic test, we got 97.58 FPS, and the graphics test 2, 83.70. And while testing, the GPU temperature was around 80 degrees, and it's pulling around 300 watts of power. Oh my god, that's a lot of power. And the fan speed is kinda audible because running at 80 degrees it's spinning really fast. And the CPU was hovering around 72 degrees Celsius. The GPU is probably not getting enough air and getting choked. And also, he mounted the liquid cooler of the CPU in the front. This liquid cooler is pretty much exhausting hot air to the insides of the computer. So it's eating up all of the components, not just the GPU, but that's probably one of the main reason. And also the case that it is very restrictive in terms of airflow. That's not helping at all. And that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye.